into majors and they're like, okay, I'm doing this, and that's where I'm going to be for the rest of my life, but then something happens and they're just not doing it, so it's like you wasted
and
time.
And I don't know if you really want your work to define who you are. I think it contributes to who you are. Like, I'm glad that I have my particular career, and I like what I do, and I'm glad to be associated with education, but I don't think I want to be defined. Like, that's not who I am. That's just what I do.
Right.
And if you're lucky, then part of what you do is also who you are, and I think I've been lucky in that way. But if I were a bank teller, I wouldn't want to just be known as the bank teller. You want to be known as your personality and who you are and what you give and that kind of stuff, and not.
Well, I think with you being so focused on with the kids and with people in general, is there like one advice that you would give to a whole in general about how to go about your life and how to be who you are?
Wow. I'm not good at remembering quotes, but I have had many quotes that have inspired me, and I just think I think it's important to be true to who you are, and I think it's important to always be looking at who you are and figuring that out, because I think some people get through life and they really never stop and examine themselves, and they don't really know who they are, what their gifts are, what their deepest desires are, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But I do think that the biggest thing for me is to be willing to take risks, and certainly not jumping off bridges. That's not that kind of risk where you're putting yourself not for the thrill of it, but being able to take some kind of a risk so that you can have the benefit. If it pays off, and if it doesn't, then there's still a lesson in it. So I think that life is really about changing and growing, and you start. I've heard two different approaches. One is that you start as just lump of clay, and then life kind of shapes you into who you are at the end. And then I've heard that you start more as a block of wood, and who you are is inside there, but it just has to be chipped away. And I like that one better, because I think that's for me, who as a person who likes control. The idea that I can have some hand in figuring out who I am, or controlling who I am, or being the kind of person who I think it's important to be. I like that, instead of just thinking that I was born a certain way, or that my family made me to be a certain way. But then you have accountability if you believe that you are somewhat in control of who you are as a person, then you have accountability that goes along with that too.
I have one more question. Yeah. Like, everybody keeps saying be who you are, but how do you know who you are?
You are constantly figuring it out. I read a lot. I read a lot of books, and I think because personality is such a complicated thing, I'm perfectly happy being at home by myself, and I'm also perfectly happy being out with friends, and so which one am I? Well, I'm probably somewhere in the middle, and every time you're in the middle somewhere, it's harder to clearly define, who you are. That was probably, that question stumps me, because I don't know how to tell you that, except to say to be open, and to kind of listen deep inside. But to do that, you have to take time. You have to take time to spend alone, and college is probably the worst time in the world to carve out time to spend alone, thinking about who you are. And I don't even think, for me, we all have negative tendencies, and so I have my own set of negative personality traits. So I don't always sit there and say, okay, I have a tendency to lie, or I have a tendency to do this, so that's who I am. Instead, I think more like, who do I want to be? What kind of a person character-wise, who I want to be, and working toward that, even when it's hard. So I think part of who you are in control of, and you determine that, but you have to think about it and be proactive about it. Think about who you are and who you want to be, and then some parts of you, you're born that way, and you just need to bring that out.
I guess we just all have to figure it out on our
own.
Wouldn't
it be nice if you could just go into a little machine and they would say,
Yeah.
here's your career, here's the kind of spouse you need, here's here are all the gifts that you need to work on, and here are all the things you need to give up.
See, they do that in other countries, and then they're just not. I don't know what countries it may be. Like some of the Asian places, they're like, this is your job.
They do.
We pick your husband.
They test you, and and they put you in certain tracks based on
that's hard.
skills and abilities.
That'd be easy, but
but I don't think you'd be happy.
Yeah, probably not. You're not in control of those things.
Right.
So this is for what class?
Career planning.
Yeah. Is it a class that everybody takes?
No.
No.
I think it's just an elective.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I needed to get it.